And we are live in the Zoom room. I am so excited you are here joining me for day 3 of Drop Your Money Story and Fund the Life of Your Dreams. That's a big promise, but I can stand behind it. And I'm sharing all these stories with you about how I have literally healed and transformed my life, so that I have been able to get rid of these stories that were keeping me living in a way that I didn't want to be living, and I could live the life of my dreams. I've been talking to you all the past few days about freedom. Freedom, finally, to live life your way, to do life your way on your terms with epic results, to be fully supported in being who you're here to be and having your journey of your dreams. That includes money freedom, that includes time freedom. For me, a big one I've shared with you is the freedom to have the spiritual journey of my dreams and to live in such a way that money does not make my decisions. I'm very intuitive and I'm very spirit guided. I am a combination of spirit guided, and I've learned to be desire led. And that's what I'm teaching you. I want to follow wherever spirit wants to lead me. I want to get the maximum experiences and live my highest potential without money making my decisions. And money was running the show and making my decisions because I was running money stories. And a key concept, a universal principle I have been teaching you all that I live in my own life is whatever you say is. Whatever you say is. That means the stories you're telling become what is. And the universe has to deliver that no matter how many hundreds of times you start writing other things that you want and need down in a journal or affirm them over and over and over again. This is energy. This is energetic exchange. You as an energetic being in energetic exchange with yourself and everything and everyone in the universe. Right now, every single thing and every single one in your life, in your experience, and in your world is a match to your energy. That's why they are here. Everything that is not here that you want is not here because it's not a match yet. When we read out into the future, future is all about possibilities and probabilities. It's not set in stone. At any time you look into the future, there are these 3 realms. There's probability, what already you're such a match to energetically, it's probably going to happen if you keep going the way you're going. Possibilities, it's possible for this to show up in your 3rd dimensional real world experience and life and world. You're gonna have to do some shifting to bring it closer into the possibilities. And the 3rd field is things that are so not a match to you energetically right now. Big awareness, big discover, and big shift will have to happen to move those into possibility and then into probability. So you see, this is all about you and your energy, managing your energy and your emotions and what I'm teaching you. This is a 5-step process that I've captured it into so I can teach it to you because it's big stuff. It's big, out of this world concepts. And so day 1, I talked to you about discovering these money stories. And money stories are just what we're focusing on right now. You have stories about love, money, work, family, money, stories about everything you can and can't have, can and can't do, can and can't be, and can't have. and everything about should be and shouldn't be and should do and shouldn't do, should have, shouldn't have. You get the idea. What works with money stories works with everything else. So discovering these money stories, and then it's your choice, as I talked to you yesterday about shifting these stories. When you shift the stories, you shift what you're telling the universe is. The universe cannot impede on your free will. Remember, the universe will rush in to meet you, but you have to lead the way. When you discover these things that are running the show, running your bus and not serving you, and keeping what you truly want, need, and desire away from you, you will choose to shift. You will take new actions that create new beliefs that bring you new results. In a nutshell, that's as easy as it is. I'm not saying it's easy to discover and shift. And the next thing I'm going to talk about, today's word and today's step, traps and trips up more people than anything else. They even love doing all the discover work, and they even learn how to do the shift work. But today's work is act. Discover, shift, act. Today, day 3 is all about act. I could talk about this all day long. In 2003, I turned my life into an experiment for the law of attraction. Some years later, when The Secret came out, I actually connected with and manifested a lot of those teachers into my experience. I have met and worked with John Assaraf, Jack Canfield, Joe Dispenza, Lisa Nichols, Joe Vitale, just to name some of the top ones. Some of them have become beloved mentors of mine. And what I found was this missing action piece. And I'm going to talk to you about that today, because one of the things that keeps me awake at night, that keeps me on my soapbox, that keeps me doing what I do is this. Too many people never take any action toward what they say they want most. And then they wonder why they don't have it. It's true. I see it all the time. And it was me for a lot of years. And when The Secret came out, and I saw, on one hand, The Secret was brilliant and much needed in the evolution for us, for our planet, for our people, to bring these concepts into the mainstream once again. But in doing that, it got watered down a little bit. And the missing piece was action. And I saw all these people. I was a therapist then. I used to be a therapist, and I got rid of my license over a decade ago to build the work that I do now and build the business that I have now had for 15 years that allows me to live the life I want to live, create a vision of the life you want to live, and then create a business that supports and sustains that life. And I saw people having mental health crisis and healing crisis based on their own core issues and their own triggers and their own wounding. The Secret's a lie. They're lying to us again. It's a scam. It doesn't work, or it works for everyone else and not me. I can't ever have the things other people can, on and on and on. I personally know a lot of those people now in The Secret. I've been with them. I know how they live. I know how impeccable they have learned to be with their energy, because they've taught me the same. And I'm always doing the work. That's what it takes to get to live this kind of life of freedom. And it takes people helping you who are already doing it. I've told you every day and again today, yes, you can create immediate results. And I'm going to tell you a story in just a minute. and you'll learn to create these immediate results and bring in things that you need, want, and desire. The big one, though, is to live a life such that you're always supported and always taken care of. And spirit always rushes in to meet you, and you're always manifesting, and you're always being, doing, and having all that is available to you that you need, want, and desire. I can teach you these concepts all day long, and yet I love when you share with me stories in real time. I have a client who just messaged me this morning. She said, I've been following your Drop Your Money story again. What a great refresher, because she went through it 2 years ago. This was literally one of the most popular trainings I've ever done and work that I do with my clients. And she said, I have to tell you the story, because one of the things we all share is what we call you can't make this shit up stories. She fully believes what I teach now. She fully is starting to learn how to live it. In the time she worked with me, she manifested moving, selling her home, creating an entire new life that she wanted to be living, and starting the business, doing the work she wants to be doing. All of that by using these principles. A lot of my clients end up moving away from where they no longer want to be into their dream locations and creating these new lives. And a lot of my clients come out of their jobs into new circumstances. Those are two of the key things that people do a lot. I have lots of clients moving all the time when they're in my world and I'm working with them. And she said, I used what you've been teaching us about creating new money. And she moved to a place where she had built at her old home a beautiful gardens. And she said, in the new home, it has to have a place for me to recreate these gardens. And I'll get to have that creative experience to recreate these gardens new. And she hadn't done that yet in this home. And she was just telling spirit, I want to create new money to create these gardens. And as soon as she set that in motion, she made a decision and she made a clear ask. Now the universe can come in and orchestrate everything in her experience. So a piece of her fence is messed up and it's decaying and they're going to have to replace it. So she has to have an interaction with one of her new neighbors about the fence. And the neighbor just happens to say, hey, I'm working this election process in the community. I'm working this election process. Would you like to work it? We are looking for some people and you would be paid. And she said she remembered what I tell her, what Michelle says in my head. I love when my clients all say they hear Michelle talking in their head, because I teach you this and it sticks. So be open right now, be receiving, be allowing, let it land. Even if you don't fully believe every word I'm saying, or you're not sure, or any of it's triggering you, or you don't even fully understand. So she said, aha, that's an opportunity. I just asked, how often do you get asked out of the blue to work an election process and get paid? And it was going to happen in just a few days. So the money came to her quickly and easily to work this. And here's what I want you to get. It's also a match to two other desires the universe already knows she has. One, to meet more people in her area, and two, to get more involved in community and election. She had an interest in it. Spirit took all of that in a way she could not orchestrate. Okay, Spirit, I need money for my garden. Here's all the ways I could get it. Instead, she put the universe to work. She made a decision. She got clear on it, and she put the universe to work. And within days, she connected with the neighbor. The opportunity showed up. She said, I remembered Michelle says, When an opportunity shows up, it might look illogical, inconvenient, uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be expensive. Sometimes you don't know what to make of it. Say yes. And she did. And she met new people and she participated in the election process. Those were desires she had, and she got paid, and she has the money for her garden. This is how it works. This is how it works. At no time could she intervene and start telling a new money story. That's too good to be true. That can't happen. This is going to fall through. What kind of money could I make? I don't have time for this. What is this going to lead to? Whatever her triggers, core wounding, and money stories. But she knows to make a decision and make a clear ask and start visioning it, and then watch for the opportunities and say yes. So it came in for her with grace and ease, very easily. This is the way it works. Now, the 5 stages I'm taking you through are discover, shift, act, believe, and create. You can get day 1 discover and day 2 shift on Instagram Live, on Facebook Live. Also, you can get the whole series on my podcast. And especially if you like to listen and you don't want to be watching, you can listen while you're doing other things or in the car. workingforspiritpodcast.com. I also did a training series on manifesting your part and the universe's part. And I did that 2 months ago in February. That's all there for you for free, workingforspiritpodcast.com. So you can find all of that. This will be up there later today, all of it. Discover, shift, act, believe, and create. I have been using this formula. At first, I'm teaching it to you, and then you'll see where you can roll it out and you can use it over and over and over again to quickly go into a cycle of creating for yourself. Now, what I want you to see why I'm sharing all 5 steps with you today: discover, shift, act, believe, and create. Believe comes after act. Believe comes after act. It's a result of the actions from where you shifted what you discovered. You discovered. You shifted based on what you discovered. You take action based on your shift. If you're not taking new actions, you have not made a shift, and you will not be getting new results. You discover, you shift, you take actions. So you discover, you shift based on what you discovered. You take new actions based on your shift. It creates new beliefs, which create new results. Now you see how you could speed this up and do this over and over again. This is a way of living and a way of being that will serve you well and keep you off the roller coaster of feast and famine. Now I want to talk to you about another piece. When these money stories are coming in, they're creating mental and emotional clutter. You're getting triggered, which creates emotional and energetic exchanges. Your brain starts running neural net pathways that are bad habits and patterns that no longer serve you, and nothing new can get in. There's a tool I use for clearing, healing, and resolving. I talk about it a lot. I learned it from Dr. Joe Vitale, who was in The Secret. And after The Secret, he moved on to Ho'oponopono, and he's made it his life's work. You can catch on his Zero Limits Living TV. He and I had a discussion about Ho'oponopono and all of this manifesting and money stories. You can go to Zero Limits Living TV And you can catch my interview when I was on his TV show recently. And that's another avenue. On my workingforspiritpodcast.com, you can hear my whole story about my manifesting Dr. Joe in my life and everything that came from that. It's a great example of the long-term way that the universe brings you what you want, need, and desire. So it's called Be Inspired by my Dr. Joe Vitale story. Ho'oponopono, I'm not going to go into it big detail and teach. You can Google it. Some of you have heard it. You can read Dr. Joe's book, Zero Limits, and he has subsequent books after that about it. It starts with 4 phrases, and it's based on the fact of this personal responsibility in shifting and taking action that I talked to you about yesterday. It's saying, what in me is needing these people and these things to show up? So it is for me to clear, heal, and resolve. I'm not fixing or changing or blaming or shaming anyone else. The piece I want to share with you, the concept I want to share with you right now in Ho'oponopono in the bigger sense is we are always receiving information in only 2 ways. What we call data or information, and that's where your money stories come in, and inspiration. And the more you clear the data and the stories and the information, the more you're open to the inspiration. My client who shared that story with me this morning knows the tools now. She's building a business around them. She clears, heals, and revolves her crap when it shows up. She didn't even tell a story. Oh, recreating my whole garden is going to cost so much money. And right now, plants are more expensive. This COVID and this economy, and I'm having to replace my fence. So it's costing me more money for that. She mentioned that. She said, the money I have now, she never said I don't have money. Remember, I taught you this the past few days. Go back to those. workingforspiritpodcast.com. Listen to these over and over and over again. She knows how to create new money, and it worked like that. I am creating new money for this garden that I desire that will bring me pleasure and joy every day. I'm visioning it. All the money I have is earmarked for other things, including this unexpected fence. But do you see? The fence led her, when she didn't make up stories about it, to the neighbor who brought her the extra money for her garden. I live trusting this. Every single thing brings with it reason. Spirit is always working in your favor. She also wanted to meet more people and get involved in things. It's all working for her favor. And it happened instantly. She got inspired. She was open. The opportunities cannot come even with your intention setting. If you're sending out counter intentions, this can't happen for me. This won't happen. How am I going to make it happen? It's going to take a long time. Any of that gets in the way. The inspiration comes in. All of this is mental and emotional clutter. And whatever you say is. And the universe has to make whatever you say is. You've got to tell new stories. These are old habits and patterns that no longer serve you. And nothing new can be created from that place. Nothing new can be created from that place. You have to unlearn them. You have to retrain the brain. I talked to you yesterday. You have to retrain your nervous system. Using all of this, starting to clear this mental and emotional clutter so you can be inspired and let the universe do its part for you. The universe does so much heavy lifting for me now, y'all. There's a difference in if you want to be matter, hammering against matter to make everything happen. A lot of people were trained to do that, and it's worked for them. You also can be a wave of energy, impacting energy in the field and letting the universe do its part. But you got to do this work to get there. Another thing I want to tell you, because in my community especially, we actually love Discover once we're taught it. Some things we don't want to look at, but we love Discover and we love Shift. I love some shift. I love some transformation. So we can also get stuck in, I see people never taking action because I've just got a little more to do. I'm going to spend this year healing. I know I felt like I was ready to work with you and I was ready to move forward and create this thing I've been dreaming about for 10 years. And y'all, I am not exaggerating when I'm telling you this story, a client telling me, but now I see where, no, I just need more healing. No, you need to take action and get into a cycle of act, assess, adjust, act, assess, adjust. You cannot sit on this side of it and just try to see what all needs healing when you're not engaged in it. It won't be the right things. And then you just stay in the process of processing. So day 3 is act. We don't act on day 5 after we believe. We act after we discover and shift, not at the end. When you've got everything else handled, if you're waiting for the universe to come in and deliver to you on a chariot, everything you're wanting, needing, and desiring, it's not going to work that way. You take action. Creating third dimensional results requires taking third dimensional action. Creating massive third dimensional results requires taking massive third dimensional action. The more you learn, the minute the inspiration comes in, it doesn't mean if you don't act, then you'll lose it, but that's the minute all roads are open. There's already the people on the other end ready for you. Everything, the path has been made, the way has been made. Go, go, go. And I've learned that, because otherwise it's never going to be that fast and easy and that good again. I really want you to understand this. I thought I had gotten to where I was a good action taker when I get inspired. And then Dr. Joe Vitale came in my life and showed me how the second inspiration comes in. He takes some action to anchor it into third dimensional reality. And so now I do the same. For a lot of y'all, it's going to mean you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and you're going to have to start learning how to be perfectly imperfect. This perfectionism will take you down. It's the same thing as I need to do more healing. This one is I'm getting ready to get ready to do these things, and I need everything perfect. No, you don't. And you always have to go first. So the universe is not going to move any closer until you've gone. The other thing, when you're bumping up against your stuff, I use this analogy a lot because I've lived it over and over, and I watch my clients. We are ready. We come forward to what we need, want, and desire, and there's this wall there. So we step back and we look at it, and we're going to have to go through it. I'm not ready. I need more healing. Today's not the day. I'm not feeling up to it. My angels are saying, let me interrupt this story for that. Spirit is always about more life, and spirit is always about what is for you. Spirit never speaks in fear. Look at nature. There is zero example in nature of things stopping before reaching their full potential. They go through the whole cycle. In nature, nothing stops growing and stops producing and stops sharing and stops benefiting both itself and the whole. Nothing happens where the angel says, wait, a bad storm's coming, just stop. No. So you come up to the wall and people make all the excuses. This is when their money stories pay off for them, but they don't serve them. They grab every excuse, every money story. Remember, I talked to you the past few days about your excuses and how they don't serve you, but you're using them, these excuses, and they're serving you, or you would stop. And you're using them to avoid, and you want to look at why you're doing that. So they turn around, they walk away from the wall. They go through all of that again. They're no closer. Now they've even moved further away from what they want. Remember, I talked about this in detail yesterday with the shifting. There's a choice point in every moment. Every single thing either moves you toward or away from what you want most. Choice point in every moment. So you choose to walk away instead of toward of. No matter how many times you come back, that wall is still there until you break through it. Then guess what? You turn around and it's gone. You turn around and it's gone. And it'll never be there again. That wall will never be there again. Too many people never take any action toward what they say they want most. And then they wonder why they don't have it. Is that you? Is that you right now? And then we're in all this energy spinning and spinning, wondering why we don't have it. It's clear why you don't have it. So now we come to this. We get rid of these money stories. We discover, we shift. Now it's time to take action. We need to replace with some new money stories. And again, this works not just with money, but with all the stories. A new money story in the present. So here's how you create that. You can do this as an exercise. Imagine you and I are meeting for coffee. And you say to me, oh my gosh, I have got to tell you what is happening. I signed up, this showed up in my awareness, this random class, Drop Your Money Stories. I found this woman, Michelle Barr. I've been listening to her podcast. She's teaching this stuff, and stuff is happening to me. Money came in. I found this old belief. And you just start saying, my life is better now. Remember that down payment? I didn't know how I was going to come up with it. Michelle taught me how to create new money. I created new money. You start telling the story in writing or out loud as if you're telling someone in the present tense. As if it's happening right now. What are you being? What are you doing? What are you having? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? Who's there? What's coming in? What are the results? And you activate that in you. And I have new stories that I have replaced the old stories. One of those is Spirit is always working in my favor. Spirit is always working in my favor. These things are either true or not. So there are days I can easily believe, look, I manifested that and that and that. Look at everything that's rolling in. Spirit works in my favor. Spirit always works in my favor. At the same time, there are times when I bump up against my own walls and I say, Spirit is not working in my favor. Why is Spirit not working in my favor? What's happening here? But it's either true or it's not. So I shift out of that story, because whatever you ask has to be answered. And I don't want to bring a bunch of crap on me that I don't want or need or desire. And I go back to Spirit is always working in my favor. If it's not revealed to me now, it's revealed to me in the future, or maybe sometimes it's never revealed to me. Tell these new money stories. Another one, when you're talking about this and staying in the present, I talked to you yesterday about going into the past and trying to live your present from the past, or future tripping about what's going to happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet, and worrying about that. When you're working energetically and you're telling the universe what is, there's this thing, oh, I want this, I need this, I desire this. And then you start getting into those counter intentions. Someday I'm gonna. The minute you meet your resistance, you have desire, 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 and it's all well and good until you meet resistance. And then, not right now. My angel said, God said no. I was a big one. God said no. Imagine my surprise when I found that God wasn't saying no. Me. And so people will say, someday I'm gonna, and here's what the universe says to that. Okay, you were asking it is given. It's universal law. It's in every sacred text we have uncovered for a reason. It simply is. But now you've said, someday I'm gonna. And so the universe has to stop in its tracks from whatever it's going to deliver you now and say, okay, let me know when it's someday. And the sad part is, a lot of times someday never comes. Someday never comes. You always have to go first. You have to make your impact, your energy on the field to create all of this. Someday never comes. You always have to deal with this energy and the field and spirit now, not trying to create living in the past, not future tripping now, not someday. You don't know what will be in the next moment. And if you get an opportunity, you want to run into it now while it's available to you. Another one before we finish today that I really want you to get is this principle. When you're asking and it is given, money comes from source through people. I really want you to get that. This has changed so much for me, changed the game, changed my life. Money comes from source through people. That's why we need to get the universe on board and spirit on board and tap into that and do our part and activate that so the universe can do its part without overriding our free will. And the universe can come in after you've gone first, because this is not tit for tat. This is what I want you to get. You do your part and the universe does its part. And guess what? The universe always does way, way, way more than you. Way, way, way more than you. But you have to go first and you have to do your part first. But the universe does so much, and money comes from source through people. So the universe knew and matched up the needs. My client said, I'm creating new money for this garden. She knows better than to throw a single money story in there. She also knows the universal law and principle that we leave the house to the universe. That's why it could happen for her so fast. So it came in quickly for her. She left the house to the universe. She didn't tell the stories. And spirit knew where the money could come from, because those people running that election process that she was supposed to meet, they had a need. And the universe connects all the dots. You couldn't orchestrate it yourself. You plug in, but you have to do your part, and the universe does its part. Really go to my podcast, workingforspiritpodcast.com, and listen to that other training series, Manifestation, Your Part and the Universe's Part. You've got to get this. So many of you are sitting there waiting for the universe to do its part, and then you start telling stories. And now do you see from what I'm teaching you? None of that will work. It will all work against you every single time. But when you learn to show up and do your part and use these tools and clear, heal, and resolve what's in the way, while you're also moving forward all the time, acting, assessing, adjusting, activating, doing your part, so the universe can rush in to meet you. Right now, you know something you need to do next. I talk about this a lot too, and this is really important. Confusion is a defense mechanism. A lot of times it's a stress default mechanism. I talked about those yesterday a lot. And you have got to be able to override those. Real confusion happens. It's legitimate. There are two ways to get out of confusion. You're in confusion because there's something you don't know. So you need to either Google it, find somebody that can answer it for you, buy a book, go online, buy a course, find out what you need to know. And now we have all of that at our fingertips. Everything I need to know, I can Google it, and somebody, bless them, has taken the time to show me what I need. Next, the other reason you'd be in confusion is you have unhealed, uncleared, unresolved stuff playing out, and you've got to get help with that. There is no reason to stay in confusion, none. If you're allowing yourself, it's serving you, or you would stop it. So I'd say stop it. When you know what you need to do next and you're not doing it, it's because it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, illogical, expensive, any of those. And that's how all new results happen. Because if you were already a match to it, you would already have it. This on one hand is simple and magic, and on the other, it is profound and it takes work, and it's both. But once you learn, like when you were first learning to drive a car and you had to pay attention to every single thing at once, and where do I put my foot? Oh, and I got to look here. And now I got to look at the speedometer. Is that what it's called? And now I have to do this. And now where's the brake? And now I just get in the car and I drive. Now I live like this, so I don't get big interruptions in my life. And when I do, I pay attention and I start clearing, healing, and resolving them, because I know how this works, and it's what I'm teaching you. So this is day 3. I applaud you for showing up, being a part of this. Day 1 was discover what's getting in your way. Day 2, shifting. Yesterday was a big one because so many people come to me and they get through the discover part, and then they're saying, well, now that I know what it is, how do I get rid of it? And it's a big question with a big answer. So discover, shift, and today is act. This has been such a big part of my life. My business is 15 years old, and my first URL, my first .com I owned, that I still own, was theartoftakingaction.com, because I came upon that key and it changed my entire life, my money, my relationships, my health, my body, my family, my work, my business, all of it. I wrote a book. I've written 2 books. I'm writing my 3rd right now. My first book is called The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action. If you want the first chapter for free, go to the Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action.com and get it. That book is all about taking action and the mindset, taking inspired action. Because here's the last thing I'm going to tell you. When I'm talking about action and getting you into action, I am not talking about busy, being in action. So many people think they're doing so much. And you ask people, how are you doing? Oh, I'm busy. I'm fine. I'm so busy. And people, I don't know why I'm making money in my business. I'm always busy. I'm no longer always busy because I want time freedom and money freedom. If you tell the universe you want to be busy and you keep saying, I'm busy, and you hang any badge of honor on it, you'll keep getting the opportunities to be busy until you discover and shift and act and believe and create. Stay with me for 2 more days. Go back and get these other days on my Working for Spirit podcast.com and come back for the next 2 final days and get all of this. It's a process you live into, because I'm not talking to you today about being busy and just taking action. I'm talking about taking aligned, inspired action. And when you get inspired, let me back that up. 1, when you clear the mental and emotional clutter and you take aligned and inspired action and you get that inspiration coming in, you won't believe what your life looks like. Are you in? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to learn these things? Are you willing to start applying this to your life and seeing what happens? Go to my podcast, workingforspiritpodcast.com. Get that free chapter, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action, The Art of Taking Action, at the Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action.com. Connect with me here on Instagram and Facebook. I show up here every day serving the community I've built that are living this now. They're applying these principles. They're sending me the success stories. And that can be you. Join my community, join this group. And if you feel like you are really ready for the coaching and the mentorship to change your life and you want to fast track it and not mess around, send me a private message so we can schedule a time to talk about how I can best help you. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to stretch and grow you. It might feel inconvenient at times. It might seem illogical, some of the pieces to get you there. And it might seem that it's expensive, and that's okay. If you're ready, and it's for you. And it's going to stretch and grow you, because otherwise you would already have it. If you were already a match to it, you would already have what you need, want, and desire. I'm so excited to share this with you. Every day, I help entrepreneurs turn their life's calling from an expensive hobby into a profitable business they love. And I teach them this work, because this work makes all the difference. And I'm called right now more than ever to teach this work. So plug in, stay connected. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited you're here. And I will be back for 2 more days. In the meantime, apply what I have already taught you. Discover, shift, act. Thank you so much.